Is Radhakrishnan. I represent the FICCI here. I'm from the FICCI Karnataka State Council, Director and Head of Karnataka State Council. We are really delighted to have you all here. And this event is being organized to kind of gain support for the textile sector in Karnataka. The government of Karnataka has recently introduced a new textile policy. Plus, Karnataka is one of the most prominent and promising states in our country. Offers a lot of opportunities for investors, and FICCI has been supporting investment development initiatives in Karnataka. So we are here to promote the textile sector investment, looking forward to investments coming to Karnataka. That's the reason why the team is here from the government of Karnataka. And from the FICCI, we have Mr. Rajnikant Marfatia. He's our National Executive Council member, and he is also a past president of South Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I would like to request Mr. Mahesh from the Textiles Department to present a bouquet of flowers and welcome him. All the dignitaries on the dais to please the.
And Commissioner of Textile and Development, Director, Handlooms and Textile, Government of Karnataka के श्री B.S. पाटिल जी, ISNFS के श्री गिरीश भाई कामत जी, इटको डेनिम के तपन चंद्र जी, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ हैंडलूम एंड टेक्सटाइल कर्नाटका के गवर्नमेंट के CS योगेश जी, हमारे टेक्सटाइल यूनिट के विस्मकता जो कहला जाते हैं वरुण भाई जरीवाला, प्रेसिडेंट फिक्की एंड नेशनल एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंबर्स श्री रजनीकांत मारफतिया जी, लुथरा ग्रुप के हमारे CMD एंड चैम्बर टेक्सटाइल कमेटी के चेयरमैन गिरीश भाई, चैम्बर के प्रेसिडेंट, पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट एंड इनवाइटीज और महानुभाव जो डायस पर विराजमान अन्य महानुभाव। आज सूरत इज अ टेक्सटाइल हब और करीब 3 करोड़ से ज़्यादा मीटर कपड़ा हम सूरत में हर रोज बनाते हैं और सरकार ने, कर्नाटका सरकार ने न्यू टेक्सटाइल पॉलिसी की है और हम लोग अगर बिजनेस में एक दूसरे के साथ दें तो इंडस्ट्रीज का कितना फायदा हो सकता है, और इंडस्ट्रीज में सबको, कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट को और हमारे इंडस्ट्रियलिस्टों को, सबका क्या क्या फायदा हो सकता है, इसके बारे में ज़्यादा जानकारी के लिए आज पाटिल साहब हमारे साथ विराजमान हैं। हम सब हमारे टेक्सटाइल यूनिट के महानुभाव जो यहाँ बैठे हैं, सबको मैं एक रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि हम लोग इनकी साथ बात शेयर करेंगे। नई टेक्सटाइल पॉलिसी, कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी के बारे में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे, और हम दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ बिजनेस में कैसे जुड़े जाएं, ऐसा प्रयत्न करने के लिए आज हम इकट्ठा हुए हैं। उनका रोल सब है। मैं साउथ गुजरात चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्रीज की तरफ से इन सब का स्वागत करता हूँ। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. SGCCI is a very prominent member of FICCI, and it's our delight that we are here today, and we had the full support of SGCCI. And every time when we think of Surat, we think of SGCCI only. So that shows the relationship we share with SGCCI. Thank you, sir, for that very warm address. And now I would like to invite Mr. Rajnikant Marfatia. He is a National Executive Member of FICCI.
The keynote speaker of today's meeting, B.A. Patil Sahab, Commissioner of Textile Department, State of Karnataka, Girish Kamath ji, Vice President, IL and FS clusters, the Governor of Textile Industry of this area, Arun Bhai, President of our Chamber, Mahendra Bhai, the interested persons who are keen to promote interaction between Karnataka and Surat, that is Bangalore and Surat, for promotion of textile industries, and various representatives of Karnataka state government, and my colleague in FICCI, Director FICCI Karnataka State, Sri Radhakrishnan. It gives me great pleasure that every year we organize several activities at different centers, and similarly FICCI has organized this activity this year. Generally we carry on a couple of activities, one in the small scale sector, one in textile sector, and sometimes in the financial sector also. This time, apart from these activities, FICCI has decided to go for a mega seminar in the agro-process industries, which is likely to come up sometime next month. And maybe this is going to be one more activity of FICCI in the small scale industry. I won't say much about small scale industry because there is a separate wing of FICCI as far as small scale industry is concerned. And we have a gentleman over here who has been part of the founding board of directors of the Federation of MSME, which is a separate wing of FICCI. I think Mr. Girish Luthra is a founder member of that federation, and he should be able to say a little more about it than me. State of Karnataka, as you all know, is also known as state, and Bangalore known as the garment capital. And blessed with some natural resources, Karnataka has all the natural fibers available: cotton, silk and wool. It produces cotton, it produces wool, and it produces silk also. And it produces 20% of ready-made garments of the Indian total production, and it also exports about 6% of the national production. That makes it a very interesting sister city sister state for the state of Gujarat and state of Karnataka. Both the states are very friendly textile policy and never come out with new policies. Our government has also come out with very fine new textile policy. And similarly, Karnataka government also come out with new textile policy, which is going to with a capital outlay of 1,000 crores of rupees spread over 5 years. And they are going to have first area for the development of textile parks, for the development of HRD, for the development of skilled workers, for the promotion of and disposal of the entire textile industry throughout the state of Karnataka. And they are very fine financing system to encourage the new entrants. And I don't think we need to stress why we should go for textile more. The national textile policy is recognizing the textile sector for its unique position as a self-reliant industry from the production of raw materials to the delivery of finished products with substantial value addition at each stage of processing and its major contribution to the country's economy. It all targets for achieving minimum of 12% CAGR in domestic sales, then to reach a production level of 350 billion United States dollars by 2024-25 from the current level of about $100 billion for the domestic market. 20% CAGR is export from India with a total value of exports to reach $300 billion of textiles and apparel by 2024-25. India should be then have a market share of 20% of the global textile and apparel trade from the present level of 5%. Taking note of the new challenges and opportunities presented by this global environment, particularly the initiation of process of gradual phasing out of quantity restrictions on imports and the lowering of tariff levels for an integration of the world textile and clothing markets by end of 2004, and the need for a focused approach to maximizing opportunities and strengths inherent in the situation. FICCI, in partnership with Government of Karnataka, has therefore organized this road show. We have done it in the past and will continue to do it in the future also. For the investors from Surat who has expressed interest in investing in Karnataka, Textile Department, Government of Karnataka has been very cooperative and single window clearance has been very helpful for investors. I am very much sure that after the new Karnataka textile policy, the textile sector will grow as expected. I would not like to say more, but there is enough buy of interest in joining FICCI, which I have seen earlier in the past also. There are various kinds of membership and various kinds of, the membership forms are available. I would suggest that some of you who are keen to go further in life and promote your business in textiles and otherwise, please think of associating with FICCI. It has a lot of things, the wide spectrum and bouquet of facilities and services available. I would not like to dwell all of them in detail, but I would certainly say it is worth going through your laptop or Google to find out how fascinating it is to become a member of FICCI. With these words, I welcome you all on behalf of FICCI.
Now I'd like to invite Mr. B.F. Patil, IAS Commissioner for Textile Development and Director, Handlooms and Textiles, Government of Karnataka, to deliver the keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Senior member of the National Executive, Rajnikantji, past President Arun Jariwalaji, Girish Luthraji, G.P. Agarwalji, and my consultant agency, Mr. Girish, and a very important coordinator for this function is my FICCI colleague, Radhakrishnan, and co-dining member Tapan Chandraji, and my project director Yogesh, and my colleagues and respected members of the FICCI here. It gives me immense pleasure. I am in this assignment for the last 3 months. Basically, I am not a textile professional, but after joining this organization as a commissioner, to promote business in this sector, to function as a promoter, it needs a different kind of a mindset. And indeed, sir, it is really a privilege. Working in the government is one issue. It is a very easy to work in the government, taking some assignment as an employee. But to promote employment by way of investment and create opportunities of employment for others is an uphill task. And our national executive member, Rajini has been kind enough to say very good things about the Karnataka and its textile policy. I 100% support his view and endorse it. But besides that, it is not a Karnataka government policy. It is a textile policy meant for the entrepreneurs who are all veterans in this sector. Why I appeal to you is not because that I am interested in that, because requesting somebody to come to a place far away from home and make it as if it is your home and invest your resource, promote employment in that, become an employer and do the contribution to the economy is very easy to say, but difficult to accomplish it. In this context, I feel, as a commissioner, it is easy to do my job in the state, but outside the state, if one needs to promote this kind of business opportunities which exist in that part of Karnataka, that part of India, it is one of the constitutional obligations for me also. Because all educated people, as you are aware, by virtue of their education, efforts, performance, sky is the limit for achieving some position in the society throughout the world. But for others who are not so fortunate, to promote employment opportunities, equally a state has to perform its role. In that context, Government of Karnataka has been kind enough, our Minister and our Chief Minister, Siddaramayaji, and our Minister Babu Rochinsansud, they are given full freedom to do something in this sector. So the constitutional responsibility by the state, they have announced their policy. Now next is implementation. Within the 3 months, our team is doing its best. Rajinikanth has addressed a few good words, but to put in practice and implement it in letter and spirit, it is a difficult one. The mindset in the organization, whether in the government or in the bureaucracy, as you know, less said the better. It is not so easy in the government that we do perform our clearances like a single window clearance, what they call. I do not endorse that also, because the red tapeism in the system has affected our economy very badly. Why I am telling this is because of my experience in the system. Young generation is looking for speeder and timely clearances, and the bureaucracy is not able to perform its role, not because that bureaucracy alone is responsible, but the inherent factors and the political system equally do come in the way. In order to get rid of those hindrances, we have made a timeline, a web portal Government of India has introduced. That portal is available for all those, I think, invest opportunities 100 crores and above. For lesser investment, we need to adopt that in Karnataka. Because the other day from Government of India, from the Cabinet Secretariat of Government of India, Additional Chief Secretary Cadre officer, he came to Bangalore from Delhi, and my Chief Secretary, my Additional Chief Secretary, Industry and Commerce, they addressed in Hotel Atria in Bangalore, and they say it is a challenge for Government of Karnataka unless we adopt that policy in letter and spirit, introduce a timely clearance, business houses find it very difficult. And we fully agree that. Having said that, we are a committed team in our department, and within these 3 months, what I could find, my secretary, Mr. Tushar Girnath, who is a very young and dynamic, and he is committed to this cause. So also is our minister. Keeping that in mind, I find it that unless the opportunity is available in Karnataka, by way of, we have introduced a policy, particularly backward zone in Karnataka. Recently, our central member of the parliament, who was a former minister in railway minister and labor minister, now he is a leader of the opposition in the Congress in parliament, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, that part of Karnataka, it is called Hyderabad Karnataka region, comprising about 6 districts. Earlier it was ruled by Hyderabad Nizam. That is the most backward area. People are too good, conservative, but not so much. Opportunities are not available. Raw material in terms of whether the cotton sector, that particular area is very potential. We have the river water, that is Krishna river. Land almost we have acquired about 3,000 acres, out of which 1,000 acres is earmarked for textile sector. But this is a backward area where special packages available by way of incentives and subsidies. That we are focusing, number 1. Number 2, in addition to that, Karnataka like Surat, other day, just about an hour back, it was very nice to hear from Honorable President, because Surat originally out of the present population of Surat, more than 90, almost 85% come from outside. They are non-Suratis. So that means Surat is a home for people who are outside Suratis. Really, I feel proud and it is a privilege to come here and discuss with you. And similarly, Karnataka, I do not say that we are so much homely, but still in southern India, it is one of the a good state, a very homely state, and you will be fortunate if you make an attempt in that part of India. Because we have seen many in the past, historically, you have seen what was the discussion now also, because so many foreigners came and they have made India as our home, as their home, except the Britishers. The foreigners, so the Dutch came, Portuguese came, French people came, English people came, Arabs, Parsis, so many. Barring these Europeans, they went back lock, stock, barrel. But the Arabs, other people, they made home in India, and it is a very composite culture. Similarly, now Bangalore has become a metropolitan. A good opportunity is available. Good policy has been introduced. And with that, I only make an appeal, because to promote, as you said, to promote an entrepreneur, to become what you call employer for so many opportunities you can create for others, is a very difficult task. Unless until the government system do comply in letter and spirit all those clearances in time without any depression in the system. And I am grateful that having acquired this assignment, and come to this year and address you, it is a rare privilege in life, and we will be committed to what I speak here. And I promise on behalf of Government of Karnataka, if any investors take an initiative, we will be with you till all these clearances are made available. And the President and Rajnikant ji, they have given a very kind words about Karnataka. I only feel my colleagues, after completing this their vertical assignment here, they do implement it in letter and spirit, not merely in words, but in deed. So with these few words, it's a rare opportunity, and we have a similar kind of a road show on 30th of this month in Windsor Manor Hotel in Bangalore. Our Chief Minister has been kind enough he has given time, 30th August at 11 a.m. A road show he is going to inaugurate. We will send our invitation not only here, and I think our project they have come with the invitation also. We will extend. Kindly do visit Bangalore, make this opportunity a good one. Thank you very much.
When you think of Karnataka, Bangalore, I'm sure you will think of IT. You think of ITES, biotechnology. There are several such sectors. And now the Commissioner just mentioned about the online investment tracking mechanism. Government of Karnataka is one of the few states to go for this. Government of India has introduced that system some time back, and it's been very successful. Investors can track online the status of their investments, the commitments, the clearances. So the Government of Karnataka has in principle agreed to go for an online tracking mechanism for investments between 1 crore to 100 crores. So that system is getting in place. So that will be a very good opportunity for you to, another reason for you to consider Karnataka. So among other sectors, textile is one of the most promising sector. We have end-to-end companies, end-to-end systems, and companies go for integrated plans, and we have cluster systems, and ILFS has been working in this area, supporting the government, helping the government in terms of putting things together, facilitating the process. We have Mr. Girish Kamath from ILFS to make a presentation on the cluster system, and I would like to invite Girish to make this presentation. Over to you, Girish.
For giving this introduction. I would like to start my presentation by taking you through as to what has happened during the last 5-year policy period. I think when we talk about this, it is very important to find out as to, while policies are there on ground, how does it translate into investments and what kind of impact it has created over a period of time. Of course, Karnataka as a state doesn't need any introduction. This is the third such session we are doing in Surat. So this is just about telling you what are the strengths of Karnataka as a state in terms of our geographic concentration, demographics, economic parameters, and what kind of infrastructure upgradation has happened over a period of time. Impact of a policy is best seen when you can actually quantify as to what has happened during the policy period and so on and so forth. During the last 10 years, Karnataka as a state has seen close to 9,000 odd crores of investments in this particular sector. Now compared to what business Gujarat or Surat does, it may be very small. But nevertheless, from nowhere to this, the growth has been phenomenal. We have been seeing a growth of almost 30% year on year. So that is the strength. Over the last 5 years, close to 3,300 crores worth of projects have actually been grounded across SMEs, cluster projects, as well as mega projects by investors like you from all across the country as well as abroad. So that is another strength. Before we got into this session, we were just having a discussion on technical textiles with Mr. Arun Bhai. In the last 3 years itself, we have seen as a state close to 1,400 crores of investments in technical textiles per se. Going forward, we are sure it will be very strong enough. Primarily, across the value chain, Karnataka had begun with its strengths in the garmenting sector and weaknesses all across, right from ginning, spinning, weaving and processing. But over the last 5 years, a fair amount of capacity has been added across the value chain sectors, including garmenting. So we are slow, thanks to the global conditions as well. Out of the 5 years, 2 years were very bad recession hit years and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, we have been able to attract investments. This is just a report card of year-wise how we have actually fared in terms of investments as a department. Moving forward, how many mega projects? It's about 4,400 crores worth of mega projects in the state. A mega project is defined as any project which looks at investment above 100 crores and employs at least 500 people and above. In the SME sector alone, we have actually been able to attract close to 800 odd crores of investments. And cluster-based projects. These are projects which are supported by Ministry of Textiles, Government of India, as well as certain state-level initiatives. The state has been able to attract close to 400 odd crores in terms of cluster-based projects. Sum and substance, this particular sector has actually taken industrial production to a next level, has actually helped in employment generation, and also helped in, improving export earnings for the country as well as the state. So IT may be very large, but textile has also commenced making its mark in the last couple of years. And going forward, we are only sure that it is going to be even better. In terms of the landscape, close to 6,500 plus units all across the state. In terms of raw material, we have all the raw material that is required. Karnataka produces close to 45% of India's raw mulberry silk. In terms of wool, it is about 17.7% contribution to the national production. In terms of cotton, it's a very small percentage, that is 4.1%, but we are growing. The biggest aspect is, 20% of garment production happens from Karnataka. So that is where the strength lies. And as a policy initiative, the government of Karnataka is actually looking at, sort of strengthening the entire value chain as we go along. To do this, the most critical factor, human resource development. Close to 250 odd government supported human resource development centers all across the state, with 140 which is completely capital funded inclusive. So that has happened as a report card during the last 5-year plan period. Out of the 30 districts, this is just a mapping of the textile value chain in the state. We have presence of a textile activity in almost all states. But nevertheless, if you see this chart, the weakest link in the whole aspect is processing. So this is where Karnataka has to really buckle up, and we are all out in terms of, seeking investment and support from centers like Surat and so on and so forth, which can actually help us strengthen this aspect of the value chain. What does any investor see while we move into either existing state or a new state? Basically, what are the factor conditions, what is the availability, and at what cost? So we have just done some kind of charting in terms of helping you appreciate what Karnataka as a state is. In terms of government initiatives, in terms of availability of raw material, infrastructure and logistics, and skilled manpower. Land, the most critical input when you start or commence projects. In the last couple of years, to facilitate investments in land intensive sectors, the government of Karnataka, through its Industrial Area Development Board called the KIDB, has actually identified close to 82,000 acres all across the state, and they are at various stages of closing in terms of giving it to the industry for setting up industries. So that is one big positive. While we talk about textiles, the way large parcels are being actually developed for textile sector, the government of Karnataka very recently has identified 1,000 acres of land, which is now free of all encumbrances for the textile and garmenting sector per se. So to facilitate that, all particular factor conditions in terms of utility, a 4-lane road is being created, industrial power feeders are being actually brought in up to the battery limits. There's abundant water in that particular area to start any textile related activity and so on and so forth. Plus Yadgir being a backward area, a special package is being designed over and above the policy support to actually support investors. In terms of location, nearest port is Goa, about 520 odd kilometers. Airport is Hyderabad, it's about 180 odd kilometers. And Yadgir has a passenger siding, which is about 10 kilometers away from the site. So this is the next destination for textiles, which is being created and completely supported and funded by Government of Karnataka in terms of infrastructure creation up to the battery limits. Commissioner sir was kind enough to say that, when we talk about single window clearance, how difficult things are. But nevertheless, once we show a report card for the state as to how much investments have come in, obviously without the commitment from the office of the commissioner, that investment would not have come in. So that is a testimony to the fact that, although single window is really difficult, but what is important, it is, if the focus is there, it happens. Of course, the policy support, as was there before, continues in a new avatar, as I may call it, which is even better and completely benchmarked to other markets which are having equally attractive policies. And of course, a professional agency is being identified in terms of continuing the concept to commissioning and hand-holding for all the investors who actually walk into the state, decide on putting their investments, and in terms of taking their projects forward through all clearances and then getting incentives as well. In terms of raw material production, I do not wish to repeat this, but nevertheless, in terms of number, during the year 12-13, in terms of cotton production, about 15 lakh bales. In terms of silk production, it's about 8,219 metric tons. In terms of wool, it is 8 million kgs. That has been the contribution of Karnataka to the raw material in the textile sector. And these are just a mapping of, where it is available in the state, so that one could actually plan the requirements accordingly and the investments also accordingly. Skilled workforce, an important aspect. This is just a listing of the support institutions that Karnataka as a state has. It's over 1,000 across various faculties and trades, and over 150 to 200 across textiles as a sector itself. Apart from that, under the last policy period, Government of Karnataka has actually taken the bold initiative. In fact, it was one of the first states to look at this particular initiative of creating 140 odd skill development centers, which are completely funded to the extent of 30 lakhs in terms of capital equipment. So those continue to actually train and sort of give people to the garmenting industry and so on and so forth, because that's where most of the investments are in the state. So going forward in the current policy, these aspects have only been strengthened, point number one, and point number two, they have been brought in line with what Ministry of Textiles is actually supporting in the skill development scenario. Coming to what the current policy is all about, it starts again with strengthening of value chain. We had discussed enough. Geographical dispersion. By history, most of the garmenting units in Karnataka were situated near metros like Bangalore, Mysore, so on and so forth. And over a period of time, what these industries found is that, it was becoming extremely difficult to sort of manage production there because of rising costs. So as a policy, Government of Karnataka came out and said that, okay, let's sort of take you backwards and see how things work. Of course, there were a lot of apprehensions at that point in time that if we go backward, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 will not be available, so how do we do it and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, from where we were to where we are now, a fair amount of investments and dispersion of units in the backward areas have happened. Manpower development, support, we just discussed. Moving to infrastructure development. Apart from the Ministry of Textiles, greenfield textile parks, there are smaller textile park possibilities in the state of Karnataka under this policy. And apart from this greenfield, there are brownfield cluster projects also which can be funded under the state policy. Capacity building support, we'll have support coming from the Government of Karnataka. Institutional linkages. As I told you, over 1,000 institutions all across, so linkages can be created, it being the IT backbone and so on and so forth. And of course, there would be professional handholding. What are the opportunities available? So this is just a mapping that if one were to set up units, what does it mean? Reimbursement based incentives which are zone dependent, which go up to 6 crores in terms of cash payouts, plus power subsidy, plus other subsidies as listed in the policy. If you look at greenfield textile parks under the state perspective, development of such projects for common infrastructure up to 20 crores per project. If you look at brownfield cluster development projects, it is about up to 12 crores in existing textile clusters. There is a specific focus to develop the backward areas, and there would be additional support there up to the extent of 25 crore rupees. And mega projects, the policy is very clear, 15% of the project cost up to rupees 50 crores across a bouquet of incentives that would be given by the state. An all-encompassing budget of about 1000 crore has been made available, and most important is the support coming at requisite stages of setting up your plant. For example, infrastructure support if it is brownfield, greenfield or backward area zone, textile zones. And there is a specific support for Center of Excellence as well, where we are requesting the SGCCI to actually assist the state in terms of developing something for technical textiles as we go along, both in terms of partnership, some kind of incubation facility, as well as trying to work with this textile colleges to sort of look at developing entrepreneurs for the technical textile sector, because it is upcoming even in the state as we go along. Project setup stage, we have a credit linked capital subsidy, reimbursement of entry tax and stamp duties, and there is a skill development support. So by the time your project is ready, you will be assured that there will be manpower available for your unit. Project operation stage, there is an interest subsidy, power subsidy, capacity building support, resource conservation support, and environmental and social compliances support. So from start to finish, the government of Karnataka through the policy is ensuring that you get your support at requisite stage of development of the project. I wouldn't dwell much on this because this is just a listing of what kind of support is there in the policy. You would find it in the CD as well as the booklet as well. But very general zone, it is actually depending on the investment bracket and the respective zones. So you get additional subsidies if your unit is actually situated within the designated textile parks and specific categories. What the government of Karnataka has ensured is that if it's a technical textile unit, there will be additional support, point number one. Point number two, out of experience, it has been found that large investments have come in the state which are in integrated terms. So if it's an integrated unit, there would be additional subsidy once again. So it's up to the investors to sort of combine this particular aspect and actually go and seek incentives. Interest subsidy, entry tax and stamp duty reimbursements, common infrastructure for greenfield textile parks up to 20 crores in zone 1 and 15 crores in zone 2. Projects, if they are approved under the central government, there is an add-on support up to 10% of the project cost or 10 crores depending on how we actually go forward. And a bold step is in terms of brownfield cluster development where existing units are there, we look up to 12 crores of support. This is for the backward area development. Interestingly, we had a meeting in the afternoon wherein people are committed to sort of come and set up on the Maharashtra-Karnataka border a particular project under this particular support system. So it is actually working. We only need to, as government, support them in terms of taking their investment promotion forward. Power subsidies, effluent treatment plant support. This was there even last time, but it is only increased a bit this year during this policy plan period. So mega projects. So this is the basket that is available for mega projects: credit linked capital subsidy, reimbursement of all state level duties to a certain extent, reimbursement of employee state insurance and employees provident fund, reimbursement of entry tax, stamp duty, and power subsidy at the rate of 1 rupee per unit. We have something for market development, design development, and standards and compliances also, which are very minimal though. Center of Excellence, there is a budgetary allocation of about 10 crore rupees for setting up a Center of Excellence. Request SGCCI to actually support the government of Karnataka to this particular initiative in terms of taking it forward. This is more on human resource development, what kind of support and so on and so forth. This is only being brought in line with what Ministry of Textile is actually doing or other line ministries are doing. Support continues for existing units. A specific spinning sector rehabilitation package has been actually given as a part of this policy as well, where there is a benefit of up to 2 crore rupees. This is more about zone classification. On a concluding note, Karnataka as a state has rich natural resources. It is among top 5 industrialized states and we continue that way. Infrastructure may not be as good as Gujarat, but we are trying to actually do better. Skilled manpower is being made available and it's investor friendly government and policies. Some of our prominent players in the state. Some of the prominent brands that go manufactured in Karnataka outside the country. So as a way forward, we are just suggesting what needs to be done. We could actually assist interested entrepreneurs in terms of taking their proposals to the government, or you could approach the commissioner's office directly and we could actually come in thereafter. I would like to keep the house now open for a Okay, just a change. They want to have the question and answer session towards the end so that we give enough time to everybody. So we'll be open to take your questions later on. So thank you very much for this patient hearing.
Thank you, Girish. Now we are going to listen to Mr. Arun Jariwala, and he is a very committed person for the growth of the textile and technical textile. He is an expert. We look forward to his address. Over to you, sir.
President of the Chamber, Sri Katargamala, Mr. B.F. Patil, IFS, Commissioner of Textile Development and Director, Handloom and Textiles, Government of Karnataka, dignitaries on dais and friends. As far as the Karnataka is concerned, our long association with Karnataka. When there was only viscose rayon manufacture in India, no synthetic fiber was there. There was a distribution of viscose yarn. And in that case, on behalf of the Government of India, I was the person in charge of distributing this yarn in the South India. Particularly it was in Karnataka because that was the greatest user of viscose yarn. From that, I am also a president of the Federation of Indian Textile Industry, FICCI, and my branch in Bangalore is also situated, and every 3 or 4 years we have our annual general meeting there also. 3 years back we had our general meeting there. I would like to inform that the Karnataka and particularly Bangalore and handloom area of that, which I also visited with Miraset committee appointed by the Ministry of Textile. Zari is main raw material of these fabrics. And I would like to say that many families who are dealing in Zari, who were dealing in Zari at that time, have been, now as Mr. Luthra has been here from his father, 1962, many Gujarati families are there in Bangalore who have established themselves there. And Bangalore, means Karnataka and Surat have a very friendly relationship from that time. I would like only to say that when I was invited last summit, to deliver my lecture on the technical textile symposium, I visited the near about industry also, and as I discussed with the officers and Mr. Kamat that there is a big scope of technical textile being established this industry there. I was the person who introduced this technical textile chapter in the last textile policy, Satyam committee policy, and from there this mission has started. And Karnataka has a big opportunity, being an automobile hub, being a medical hub also. These two hubs which are there, it has a very big, field for technical textile. And on behalf of Mantra, last year when visited, we had invited their officers to our Mantra and we had acquainted them with the general aspect of the technical textile. Now, as I discussed with them also, we have 4 centers of excellence of technical textile in Mantra. One is agro-textile, one is laminating and coating, another is non-woven, and the one agro-textile by Ministry of Textiles, Government of India. And we are going to establish one center of excellence which will make an incubation center as a Mantra, where we will establish about 20 type of manufacture items of technical textiles from the roll goods, that is from the non-woven, woven and also plastics. So that will be for the purpose that the entrepreneurs, and that was the main idea of establishing this technical textile mission also in Ministry of Textile, that we don't much need what is the roll goods. That industry requires 100 crore rupees or more. But we want that employment oriented industries in SMEs. And in SMEs, you have many items of technical textiles, which is in hygiene, which is in medical, which is in agro-textiles, and all this. And in this, there will be a large employment opportunity. The main object of the policy is not only the investment, but also the employment to be generated by establishing this industry in our country. And the present policy, which has been mentioned by Mr. Rajnikant Marfatia also, and which now a vision, strategy and action plan for Indian textile and apparel sector, which has been published for the comments and suggestions of the industry people and common people, suggest that there will be a general investment required will be 72 lakhs crore. 72 lakhs crore in next 10 years. So there is ample opportunity for the people to invest. And for that purpose, our at present $100 billion, our production is there in domestic market, and $40 million for exports, totaling $140 and dollar billion at present is to be taken to the $300 million for the export and $350 million for our domestic industry. Such a large investment opportunity is there, and particularly that they expect that the employment generation out of this will be more than 300 million people will be getting the job. This is the aspect which has been thought of by the Textile Ministry, and a particular stress has been given to technical textile, and I have discussed, and as it has been pointed out here, Mantra will be very glad to promote this technical textile sector in Karnataka, help them in all the ways, right from training to establish a technical excellence center also, and also that we will be able to, under ISDS scheme, we will be able to give the idea of technical textile entrepreneurs, creating entrepreneurs and also workers. This is a big field of technical textile which, as the policy also envisages, will be the 1/3 of the total expected investment of the next 10 years. So with these words, I would only say that we will be ready to participate with you, not only in investment but also in the knowledge which Surat and Mantra has got in technical textile and textile industry also. With these words, I thank the Karnataka government to give me this opportunity to say a few words to you. Thank you very much. In last Vibrant, we had a delegation. I led the delegation of about 20 persons from Surat, and this time also I think we will be able to get more than that number of people who will attend this Vibrant in Karnataka, because it is a give and take. It is not only give or only take. It will be give and take. So with this visit, we will also learn something more from Karnataka people, and then we will be far more knowledgeable. So again, with these few words, I thank all of you for patient hearing. Thank you.
Kind words about Karnataka. Now I would like to invite Mr. Girish Luthra.
Friends on the dais, my friends from the industry of the dais, to make it short, we're slightly late than our schedule. Thank you, Mr. Patil, for being here, representing Karnataka and letting us know more. Few things, most of the things have been covered very well by Mr. Kamath and Arun Bhai and yourself, so I need not go back into those. Very quick, the first hopping flight we had was to Bangalore, the direct connection of Surat beyond Bombay, and that would save a lot of energy, a lot of resources when we look at it in a larger picture. I'll be more than happy to share that paper with you. So it was just, I've been working on a paper which is called the Wild Goose and the Duckling Theory, which was prevalent in Japan, Japan and started it roughly in mid-50s, 1950 or 60. Roughly about for 50-60 years they've been working. That is where the Marubeni Corporation and Mitsubishi Corporation came into existence as the front runners, because SME was very much prevalent in Japan. Similar conditions are here. Today we have a lot of SME sector in India. 9 in textile, 80% is SME, unorganized plans. it just strikes me if in Karnataka, if supported by the government, if we could look at one wild or few wild goose, that is the front end. These front ends are basically the market commanders, but with a commitment that all those SMEs that are the supply chain, in the supply chain, they will be responsible for them to run profitably across the year. They can't be jumping around. We have trading houses today who do job but they are not committed. Now this, how do we form a policy or a work on this? Probably, Kamaji, we can all sit down and brainstorm, because we would be having a brainstorm session with our NMCC chief as well in Delhi. In Delhi I had one, in Bombay and Surat. Probably we could carry forward this theory, is something which is going to be one of the lead theories to be working on SME. As in FICCI also we have formed a special confrontation for SMEs just this year. We have been working on with the SME ministry as well. So I thought that if Karnataka as a state could build that as a first example, supporting this wild goose in the front, how we have yet to explore a lot of ideas, but it is not very difficult. Any economist can work and do a job in 2 months to come out with a concept. Then